we're hearing that Thomas Gravesen'S signing for Celtic, man. We're buzzing, eh? Because obviously you heard about the stories about him. And
is this the guy who were at Everton and Real Madrid?
Did he come from Everton?
but he came from Real Madrid to Celtic.
Jesus.
Could not believe it, right? So we're in the pool room, the reserves. The first team wouldn't come anywhere near that, just leave the scumbags in the pool room, right? He comes bouncing through, mate. Morning, lads! We're like, the fuck, who's this? He's like, what is this? And we were like, it's pool, mate. And he's like, oh, give us a game. Grab the cue off somebody, mate. And even if he got beat, he'd stay on. No, off you get, lad. It's like, no, Tommy, winner stays on. Like, he's like, fuck off, lad. I'm staying on. And see if you got a cheeky one, mate. He just grabbed you, eh? He was the strongest man in the world. He'd get you in a chokehold. Lie you on the flare, mate, while the other reserves are just going about their normal day-to-day life. And he'd be like talking to you while you're right, lad, your face is going a bit purple there. Mate, I'm not talking 2 minutes. I'm talking to other boys who've left to go for training and you and him are still lying on the pool in floor. He's got you in a hold. I'm like, Tommy, we've got training. He's like, don't care, lad. So anyway, then you'd get up to training, right? Quite quickly he fell out with the manager because the manager would say to him, stay in the middle of the pitch, Tommy. Don't run at the full back. Don't run wide. He would just run anywhere, mate.
What it was signed him?
Gordon Strachan.
Gordon Strachan.
So, Gordon Strachan had a thing where young lads would go on a Friday and play the first team, as if you've had it. So, you're doing there, right? You want to impress the manager. This might be your only chance to see him seeing you for the full week. And like, mate, it would blow your mind, right? So, he would be playing centre mid for the first team. I would be playing centre mid for the jobbies. And like, the ball would be up that end of the pitch and I would go to run by him, mate. And the manager's like watching this full thing for the side. And he would just get me in a headlock, mate, while... And I'm running trying to chase the ball, and he's got me in a headlock. He's like, where you going, lad?
Yeah, Tommy was a character. It was Walter Narchie that actually signed him, and he runs, I can always remember him running out on the training pitch his first day, his shorts pulled right up, his t-shirt, you know, muscle t-shirt, and really talented player, but just off the wall. You know, genuinely just a mad fella, just like good, but just off the wall. And, you know, we did really well. Everton, he was in that team, and he actually left Everton so our team to go to Real Madrid. You know, so that was the level he was at the time. So it was him and Lee Carsley in midfield, and Cars, who's another mate of mine, always says they tried to sign him because they looked very similar on the pitch. I think one was 16, one was 18. They're both bald, they're both kind of stocky shapes. So Cars says they were trying to sign him because they actually wanted to sign a holding midfielder, and they take Tommy, and Tommy's like no holding midfielder, he's anything but. He's all over the place. But they actually signed Tommy, and again back at Belfield, Real Madrid has signed him. Tommy's in the canteen, and he didn't want to go. Real Madrid has sent like this private jet, and he just was like, Tommy, your car's here, the plane's waiting for you. And he's like, all right. And he could just tell he didn't want to go. You know, but
You love it, Everton.
he did, he really enjoyed it.
He also chatted all the way through the Old Firm game, mate.
He would always be chatting, you know, and he kind of like, he'd always be mate, hey mate, and like I walked to his first Old Firm game. Well, it wasn't my first one. Walked out into the tunnel, you know, and you know what the tunnel's like. Players are scared to look at each other. The television cameras are there, and so I walked out. I don't think I was captain at that time. Walked out, and Tommy's on the opposite side, trying not to look at him. So walking out, and he says, "You go, hey mate, how you doing, mate?" Everybody was mate, and I'm like, fucking, I can't look at him in the tunnel before the Rangers Celtic game. And in the same game, I remember coming back in at half time. I can't remember the score. I don't know what the score was. Come back into the dressing room, and Barry came in and says, fucking, what about your mate? What do you mean? He says, Gravesen'S saying to me, hey mate, do you know any nice restaurants in Glasgow? While the game's going on. At half time he's walking back in, he's talking to Barry, and Barry's like, do you know any nice restaurants tonight I can maybe go out? And Barry's going, what's he?
Is he wired up? Like, brilliant.
He was mental.
Faddy says he shot fireworks at a physio one day. Were you aware of that?
No, they were in the gym, and it was the old gym at Belfield. And it was an old, no, not come the way it is now, but it was big. It was maybe at that time about 60 yards long. And I think it was him and Wayne. And they were holding the fireworks at one end of the gym to each other, and they were shooting the fireworks. And actually we had a guy who used to come in Liverpool, as you can imagine, would sell his engine, you know, and they had big rockets, big, kind of about that thick and that long, you know, full of gunpowder. and they were holding one end and shooting them at each other through the roof. And I'm
What was
running
your reaction? What was your reaction?
I'm the manager. I'm supposed to be the one who's saying,
You're joining
stop that, will you? Will you stop that? But it was, would you just behave yourself, you're like, but they'd already done it.
He was a total hero, mate. Eh? Like,
Why did
total-
Strachan take him off then? It couldn't have been just for getting you in a headlock. But
He just wouldn't listen, mate. Like everyone called the gaffer, and we'd all be in a room and at breakfast, and the gaffer would walk in, and Tommy I wouldn't even be like going up to him and saying it. He'd sit and be like, "Morning, Gordon," and you're like, "Tommy, what are you doing, man?" He was just 100 mile an hour, mate. Eh? What a guy. Gordon Strachan obviously had enough of this. He gets moved to the reserves permanently, mate. I think he's on like 40 grand a week. You've had first team players come to the reserves raging into it.
yeah.
Mate, no, this guy. Loved it. Morning, lads! We played pool today, yeah? Mate, we used to watch him coming in his motor at Celtic Park. He'd drive in his car and he'd be ruffling about his boot. And we'd be thinking he'd be looking for his boots or something, mate. He went and bought a pool cue. He went and bought like £1,000 pool cue, mate. And all he would talk about was pool, right? So he's now in the jobby team, shaping up against the first team. So we're doing set pieces, like we're the team we're playing on the Saturday. We've got the bibs on. And like Gordon Strachan would be talking like 10 yards away from you. And you're obviously wanting him to know that you're listening to him, and Tommy would be like that to you. Are you going to play pool with me, lad, when we get back up? And I'm like, Tommy, you're killing me here, man. The manager thinks I'm not listening to a word he's saying because you're asking me if I'm going to play pool. So see when he was training with the reserves though, mate, like this is no word of a lie. We used to play young v old, and see if, like, so we were playing, the ball goes in, and Tommy would sprint every time he conceded the goal. He'd sprint in at the net and grab the ball, and he'd like walk back up to the centre circle.
What, like Kez?
Like
Like
Kez.
the teacher of Kez?
Like my ball basically, right? So he put the ball down. I think we went 2 up one day in training, and then we scored the third, right, mate? He went and grabbed the ball, and he went, Willie! That was the reserve manager. He went, Willie! Stop 2 minutes. He went, no, we'll start again, lads, 0-0. And we were like, Tommy, fuck off, it's 3-0. Mate, that was the sort of stuff he would do. He's like, no, we're starting again. See if I went like that to him with that 3-0 game, I'd be like, fuck off, Tommy, it's 3-0 us. Stop moaning, lad. Go and work in Sainsbury's if you're not happy. But mate, what a player. Honestly, what a football player. We used to play head tennis. He's the best head tennis player I've ever seen in my life. He was so funny. Like we played Albion Rovers, like, which is like the lowest team in Scotland. And like first team players wouldn't want to play in this game. And he'd sit with us in like the canteen, the reserve team canteen, and Willie McStay would come in, who was the reserve team manager, and he'd be like, right, lads, we're playing Albion Rovers tomorrow. Tommy, you don't. What do you mean I don't need to play? I'm playing, lad. I'm coming. Can't wait. Centre mid. I'm on corners, penalties, free kicks. So I'm playing centre mid for him, and he would just wonder, mate. I think this is why he obviously didn't play for the first team. Like, so I'd go and get the ball for the right back, and I'd open up to try and just bounce it off my midfield, mate. And he'd be standing away on the left wing. He'd just run about with the chest out like that. Pass it here, lad. And I was like, Tommy, you're meant to be playing centre midfield with me, man. You're killing me here. And he would like shout back here, if you can't play centre mid on your own here, lad, how are you ever going to play for Celtic? He'd just be screaming, mate. Honestly, like, he came on a pre-season tour of Ireland with the reserves. Asked to come for 2 weeks. Like, who does that, mate? First team player. Played for Real Madrid. We were playing like Dundalk, Derry City or something. And Derek Reardon came with us. Deeks was another guy that had been bombed for the first team. Deeks was like bothered, man. What ability, it was unbelievable. Like the things they do in reserve team training, mate, was like Man United standard. One day we were playing this game, and because Tommy used to wander out to the left wing, Willie McStay's like that. Like, I'm going to stick him at left wing, man. Like, if I stick him out there, he might come back into centre midfield. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. So we had Riordan on one wing, and we had Gravesen on the other. This is no word of a lie, right? Tommy Gravesen gets the ball, and he's like, this is why the game's going on. He's like holding his guy off. He's like, Deeks, go wide, lad. So Deeks is up one side of the pitch, and Tommy zinged the ball over at him, right? Deeks just took a touch, and Tommy's like, zing, and they just zinged balls to each other. Like 5 times over each other, and then they started playing. But they were both obsessed with Call of Duty. So we'd come down for for breakfast in the morning in Ireland, we'd be sitting at breakfast, and like Deeks would be like, aye, me and Tommy were up to like 3 in the morning playing Call of Duty. I got so many kills. Then he would bounce in, he's like, you're not doing it justice, Deeks. Tell him about my kill. And Deeks was like, oh yeah, Tommy like stabbed somebody. I think he loved stabbing people on the throat on Call of Duty. But mate, he wasn't happy just telling you. Somebody would be used as a mannequin. He'd be like, no, come here, lad. This is what happened. I'm hiding behind this thing. He's standing. I grab him. He'd like, one of the young boys would be grabbed, and he'd be like, and then and the young boys like that. And Tommy's like showing us how he killed somebody on Call of Duty. Mate, this could be an outrageous statement, but I think he was like number 3 in the world on Call of Duty. He was supposedly unbelievable at it. But what a guy, mate! Honestly, like the nicest guy ever. He took us out of the pictures to watch the Batman movie. Remember with the Joker, Heath Ledger? We were all sitting in a cinema, mate. He goes and sits in the front row on his own big butt. You just see him laughing at every scene. And then see after that, he's balding up, mate. We were just watching him laughing. And after that in training, if anyone like moaned or anything or like was angry about, why so serious, lad? He thought he was a Joker, mate. Like he acted like the Joker for the.
He was the
What a guy, mate, honestly. We've had so many good stories on the podcast about him, mate. Brilliant, man.
He's done all right now as well, hasn't he?
I think he's a millionaire, isn't he?
Yeah,
But mate,
hundreds, I think.
we're trying to get him to come on and do something for us, and the guy I dealt him go with, he phoned him, he's like, tell Simon to stop telling lies about me, lad. Because Aidan McGeady said that him and Tommy lived next to each other, so they would share a car in. And Tommy's like to him, why don't we buy a car, lad? And Aidan's like, well, why don't I just take my car in one day and then you take your car in? He wanted to buy a car to share. And Aidan's like, right, what do you want to get? And he's like, I've seen a Bugatti, lad. Do you want to go half as on a Bugatti? For a runner car at the Celtic Park, he's wanting to buy like a Bugatti. What was that story? And Aidan says, so Aidan's like that. All the first team are in the dressing room. And he's like that, Tommy, tell I think Tommy told Aidan in the car on the way in about this car he had at Real Madrid, like a supercar. And he's like, Tommy, tell the lads about the car you had at Real Madrid that you were telling me about. And Tommy's like, don't know what you're talking about, lad. And Aidan's like, no, you were fucking telling us in the car. Like, tell the boys that. You're lying, lad. I don't know what you're talking about. So Aidan leaves the dressing room. Tommy comes in after him. Aidan went like that. What was that all about? He went, I deny everything, lad. I don't tell anyone my stories. I deny everything. He's like, you've just made us look like so in front of the boys, man. But that's how he was. Mate, see stuff like this, right? This was a guy who'd been at Real Madrid. I think he was like 32 when he came to Celtic. So we're training in the reserves. At the reserves, you need to go past the first team pitch, down a wee hill, and then there's 2 pitches that the reserves would train on. So we'd be training on this pitch, and then like Tommy would see like the reserve physio and an injured boy walking down the hill. So while he sees this, like while training's going on, mate, he'd go and hide in there was like a bush around the outside of the pitch. Tommy would just patch training off, go and sit, like hide in the bush, knowing that the physio would be coming to run round the pitch with the injured guy. As if the physio and the injured guy would run round, he'd just jump out and spear them.
Straight for Real Madrid.
Honestly, mate, it was like this guy is unbelievable. The best guy you could ever meet, mate. Never in a bad mood, always happy. Training with the reserves, mate, and just like living his best life, man.
Did he get a look in again in the first team, or was that him done?
That was him done, mate. I think he left shortly after that. But then he left, right? So at Celtic, he got a club suit. He left, and then he went and made millions. And we spotted him coming to a Celtic game a year later. Gets out his motor, mate, and he's still got the Celtic club suit on.
Pool cue under his arm.
Pool cue.
Westcott and Nicky Ball like that. We play pool?
Oh, mate, see the pool stuff, mate, used to crack you up, eh?
I wonder if he was like that in the first team then, just messing about.
He was, mate, eh? Because obviously Aidan was in the first team. I was kind of in about the first team bench and stuff like that, so you got to see him, but Aidan tells a story that like when Tommy had kind of coming towards the end, you could tell he was on the bench quite a bit. And Aidan says Gordon Strachan was shouting at Aidan, and Aidan was having a go back. And Aidan says, as Gordon Strachan's gone mad, I turn and look, and Tommy Gravesen'S got the paper up at his face with 2 holes cut out his eyes. That's sensational, isn't it? Amazing, man. But even when in the game, like we interviewed Barry Ferguson, and Barry Ferguson says that like Celtic and Rangers game, mate, doesn't get any bigger in terms of rivalry. Everyone's proper serious. Barry Ferguson's like a Rangers icon, mate. He was the captain, leader, angry guy. Barry Ferguson says, never forget it, man. Like first half, I'm running about snarling it. He's like, I'm playing against your mate Gravesen'S, and he comes up, he's like, where's good to go for in Glasgow for food, lad?
In the middle of the Old Firm derby.
Sensational, innit? Only him, man. One off, total one off.
I wonder who like at Real Madrid.
I'm going to say...
You can't see him having Beckham in an headlock, can you?
No, remember he flung Robinho a bit? Have you never seen that video?
No.
Oh, mate, you need to watch. He flings Robinho about the training ground. Honestly, like Robinho does something to him and Tommy boots him, and then Tommy starts battering him on the training ground. Try and get him, mate. He's unbelievable. There's a video of him on YouTube shouting at Zidane as well. Like Zidane's like 5 yards from him, he's like Zizou. And Zidane's looking at him like that.
Oh, I don't know who's responsible for that accent.
Something else, innit?
Tommy had a better Scouse accent than me.
Was he mad there as well?
Oh, he was crazy. He was crazy. He's a larger than life character, Tommy. Well, in fact, no, he's probably not. He'd probably be, well, Tommy was, if you don't know Tommy, where Tommy is now sums Tommy up. He's in Las Vegas. And that probably sums him up in a nutshell.
Did the lads love him then?
Oh, they loved him. Tommy would, he was an enigma. 1 week he would come in a Nissan Micra. And 3 weeks later he'd come in a Porsche Turbo. And he'd go, Tommy, why Micra 1 week, Porsche? He'd go, the Micra lad. He said, it gets me in and around Liverpool and I can park anywhere with it. and I'm looking, I'm going, wow.